Guyana is among Latin American and Caribbean countries to benefit from a U.S. $350 million funding from China through the Inter-American Development Bank.
Surinamese Ambassador to CARICOM, Manome Suknandon, says the seizure of the MV Chandra 1 was not an act of aggression, but in keeping its maritime legislation, a statement scoffed at by Guyanese administration as unilateral so-called sovereignty.
And the public is being encouraged to work with the fast-track system introduced by the Customs Administration and shipping entities to clear consignments for the Christmas season.
The details of these and other stories, GNA News, and of course the latest sporting action in the Diamond, Mineral Water and NCN Sport News and more after these. Good evening, I'm Delicia Fletcher.
And I'm Paul Moore.
With this edition of the 6 o'clock news for today, Thursday, October 23, 2008. Here's what's happening, Paul.
Thanks, Delicia. Guyana is among Latin American and Caribbean countries to benefit from a U.S. $350 million funding from China through the Inter-American Development Bank. IDB President Alberto Luis Moreno, during a media conference today, said the funding will be made accessible immediately in several loan schemes. Edward Lane reports.
China has officially been inducted as a member of the Inter-American Development Bank and has committed $350 million to assist Latin American and Caribbean countries in light of the current credit crunch. This is according to IDB President Luis Alberto Moreno during a video conference with journalists around the world. Moreno says the monies will be used in 4 areas.
The funds will be distributed as follows. $125 million will go to the IDB's Fund for Special Operations, which provides soft loans to Bolivia, Guyana, Haiti, Honduras, and Nicaragua. $75 million will go to multiple IDB grant funds to strengthen the institutional capacity of the state, including municipal governments and private sector institutions. $75 million is for the Inter-American Investment Corporation, which lends to small and mid-sized businesses.
A further $75 million will be placed in the IDB's Multilateral Investment Fund, to which Guyana and other countries in the region can tap into. The IDB president also notes that China will be a member on the board of directors of the bank and will also gain a governor's seat. Also addressing the media was China's ambassador to the U.S., Zhu Wenhang, who highlighted that his country will continue to support poverty alleviation programs across the region.
The relationship between China and the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean is offered an unprecedented historic opportunity. China will, after officially joining IDB, cooperate closely with IDB, support IDB in reducing poverty and promoting development.
Ambassador Wenhang also noted that his country's and the region's trade relations is continuing to grow significantly.
We have set a target for the total trade to reach $100 billion by 2010, and I think we have already, reached that goal ahead of schedule. So we hope, the trade will continue to maintain this kind of momentum, and because we believe it's mutually beneficial.
Ambassador Wenhang says China's membership into the IDB will provide both sides with a new platform and opportunity for increased two-way trade and investment and greater technological cooperation. He has thought it will be a win-win decision that will serve everyone's interests. Edward Lane, the 6 o'clock news.
There has been an increase in barrels arriving at One City Wharf, and the public is being encouraged to work with the fast-track system introduced by the Customs Administration and shipping entities. This is according to Marketing Director Bernie Fernandes, who added the collaboration would see a speedier clearance of barrels for the Christmas season. It is now up to the general public to comply. Details in this report.
The Marketing Director says the barrel rush and commercial goods are 2 main aspects to the clearance of cargo. Mr. Fernandes says there has been an increase in barrels arriving, but both the Customs Administration and the shipping entity are ready to deliver on time.
With the introduction of the Commissioner of Inland Revenue and the Customs and Trade Administration of the C-73 form for barrels, 1 barrel, 2 barrels, I think it goes down to 200 US in value. We have seen a tremendous improvement on the turnaround time for the customer. During these times right now, you can come here for a barrel and you'll be out of here in like 2 hours at the most, because the C-72 form is processed entirely at our location.
Even though the systems are in place, the marketing director says it is not capitalized upon and blamed the importers of commercial goods for many of their delays.
The commercial importers know what they have to do. They have to start with their invoice and their documentation from the time they place the order. They can't wait until the goods get to Georgetown to clear them. And in fact, they could have everything cleared and waiting to go just for the container to arrive. And the day after the vessel comes, or the same day, they can clear their cargo. I am saying sometimes they don't put in their paperwork into customs early enough, because from the time you order the goods, you can start submitting documentation to customs once you have an idea the vessel is arriving on and that kind of thing.
The barrel rush, he added, is created most times by the general public and gives some advice.
The biggest problems we have at Christmas season is when Christmas barrels arrive, there's a number of people who don't want the barrel in their house until the week before Christmas. So it's banked up here. And then the week before Christmas, 200 or 300 of them will descend on us in the morning to get their barrel. And that causes frustration among themselves.
So, to avoid the barrel rush and frustration, Mr. Fernandes is urging the general public to clear as early as possible and utilize the workable system in place. Guyana is seeking more Chinese investors as the country continues to market its investment opportunities overseas. The latest investment marketing efforts came from Chargé d'Affaires of the Guyanese Embassy in Beijing, China, Chuan Yin, addressing an investment seminar in that country. Edward Lane reports.
Following sharply on the heels of President Barra Jagdeo's recent visit to China, where he met with high-level Chinese officials, Chargé d'Affaires of the Guyana Embassy in Beijing, Chuan Yin, has called on Chinese companies to explore investment opportunities in Guyana. Ms. Yin made this call while participating in a seminar under the theme Road to the Caribbean, held in Tianjin City, Beijing, China on Tuesday. The seminar, organized by the Chinese Chamber of International Commerce and China Council for the Promotion of International Trade, was attended by a number of big investors in that country. Ms. Yin, in her presentation to the Chinese companies, explained the investment environment in Guyana and encouraged Chinese companies in Tianjin City to invest here. She also highlighted that Guyana has the resources and suitable climate for investment of any type. Earlier this month, during a meeting with President Barra Jagdeo in China, that country's Premier Wen Jiabao highlighted that his government will continue economic cooperation with Guyana. He noted that the two countries have shared a strong relationship since in the 1970s, and he is committed to further advancing bilateral cooperation. His comments came after the Guyanese head of state indicated his strong commitment to maintain a one-China policy. Mr. Jagdeo also met with the governor of the Chinese Import and Export Bank, the Exim Bank, who indicated his bank's willingness to fund feasible investment in the South American country by Chinese who are willing to invest. Already, Bauxite Minerals Incorporated, a Chinese bauxite firm currently investing in Guyana, indicated its intention to set up a US $1 billion aluminum plant at their Linden complex. Edward Lane, the 6 o'clock news.